Hi guys, hope you're well. This week we're going to do a very special writing task, capturing and looking at everything that we've done about narrative writing over the past 5 weeks. This is your chance to show off everything you've learned and your opportunity to show just how good you can be at writing your own story. Our task this week is to edit and up-level the story we wrote all the way back in week 1. This was the story that was inspired by the poem Graffiti. This means you're not writing something completely new, but instead we're using the tools we've learned and thinking about the suggestions I'll give you today to show off everything you've learned and make your first attempt the best story you can make it. Before we jump into writing, we're going to do 2 things: plan and magpie. First of all, we're going to magpie. To magpie, I've given you 3 good examples of stories from week 1. Your job is to go through them and write down the words and sentences you might like to use in your own story. You can take as many words and sentences as you like, and remember, you don't have to use them all in your final writing. It's better to have too many than not enough when you go to plan. It might be that you want to magpie more from one story than another, and that's fine too. It might also be that you like ideas in the stories and you might want to change them slightly. That's fine too. Take your time, read the stories, and add all the words and sentences you'd like to the magpie page. Pause the video now and do that. Now you've magpied the 3 good examples, it's time to look at your own story. Over the past few weeks we've looked at why stories matter, explored what makes a good story, described characters, and looked at themes by writing stories with a message. Now it's time to take all that learning and put it into action. It's your chance to show off how much you've learned. Read over your first story again. You'll have feedback on it from your teacher, but what do you think you can do to make it better? You've learned lots of things which you'll be able to see instantly, and from the magpie session of the 3 example texts, you will start to see where you can fit those ideas in too. Have a read of your story, maybe do it more than once. Then take some time to plan out what you're wanting to do with it. This is where it's a good idea to chat to someone about it. When you're ready, restart the video where I'll give you some suggestions about what I would do to plan my story. Finally, before we write, let's plan. It's up to you how much detail you put into your plan. I'm going to give you some suggestions about how I would start each part of the story. These are not rules for you to follow, just suggestions. It's your story, your chance to show off your learning, it's entirely up to you. In the start, we want to hook our reader and explain who and where. The introduction should only be a few sentences long. A good way to do this is a noun, who, which, where sentence. For example, Johnny, who was always in trouble, was ambling down the high street. Another suggestion is to start with an emotion and then a comma. Bored to tears, Olivia realised that the solution to her problem was obvious. In fact, it had been in front of her face all this time. Next up is the middle part of your story. This is where you want to explore the problem or the opportunity you've created for your character. Good sentences I might try and include are verb, person sentences to give my character action. For example, running. Johnny knew he'd gone too far by tying the PE teacher's shoelaces together. Then I might try the next 3 sentences. These all help give description. First up is a 3 ED sentence. You could also change the ED for an ING ending. Depressed, confused, bewildered, Shauna found herself yet again in detention. A 2A sentence. In the cold, frozen gym hall, Isla let loose the stinky, vile revenge. Or a simile sentence. The enormous teacher had legs like skyscrapers. All these things, as I just said, add description and they help you achieve what is wanted and asked for in the success criteria. Finally, we come to your ending. This is where you will resolve the story. Will it end well for your character? Will it end badly for your character? Good sentences to use here are boys, but, or, yet, or so. For example, there seemed to be no way out of the dark gym cupboard. But, was that a chink of light? Or a 2-pair sentence. Hungry and tired, scared and unsure, Johnny realised he was now stuck with his bum hanging out of the classroom window all night. Make sure you've put as much effort into the end as you have the start and the middle. Nobody likes to get to the end of a story and be disappointed. Now that you've planned, remember that my ideas are just suggestions and not rules to follow. Think about it. You've got your plan, you've got your magpie ideas to include, you've got everything you need. So let's quickly go through about what your story should have. Remember why you're writing this story and what it's about. It's about a naughty schoolchild. Have an opener which grabs the attention. With detail throughout the story, describe the atmosphere, setting and characters. To do that, you're going to need to use adjectives and verbs. You might also want to try figurative language, using things such as similes, metaphors and alliteration. Make sure your punctuation is correct, especially if you're going to use direct speech. Remember to tell me about things, not show me. Include an ending which brings your events to an end. How you do that is up to you. It could be with a twist, it could be with a cliffhanger. Finally, good luck. You've done loads and you've worked really hard. This is your chance to show off, and I look forward to reading your stories.